Dolphins versus Patriots, week 2, Sunday Night Football. We've got a huge divisional matchup this week and the first of the year. Tua is 4-0 against Belichick and the Patriots. Can he make it 5-0 this weekend? But of course, jumping into this preview, we'll start out with the injury report as always. And looking into Miami's first, Teron Armstead, Elijah Campbell, and Julian Hill are all questionable for this game. They were limited the whole week. But a new addition to this list, Jalen Phillips, was just added earlier today with a back injury. He's also questionable for this game. I'm really hoping he's going to play. That's going to be a big part of this game, is getting after Mac Jones. If I were to bet on it, though, I would say that Jalen Phillips will play in this game. But, of course, we'll find out around 2 hours before the game with the inactives list. But with the Patriots, pretty interesting, actually. Cole Strange, Mike Onwenu, Sidney Sow, and Trent Brown are all questionable for this game. That's 4 out of the 5 starting offensive linemen for the Patriots. And they're all questionable for this game. So it's going to be interesting to see whether they play. Also, Devontae Parker and Jonathan Jones are both questionable on top of that. So a lot of notable names for this Patriots offense and also defense with Jonathan Jones. But, of course, we'll see if they play as well around 2 hours before kickoff. And getting into the matchups this week. Now, this one's a bit different because last week it was pretty obvious with Tyreek Hill and Waddle versus Asante Samuel and J.C. Jackson. And on the other side, it was Keenan Allen and Mike Williams versus Xavier Howard and Kader Kohu. But the Patriots don't really have a star receiver. They don't have a star cornerback. So I kind of switched it up a bit. My matchup for this week is Mike McDaniel versus Bill Belichick. I think that this game will come down to coaching and who basically, for the Patriots, it's whether Bill Belichick can come up with a game plan to stop Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and this offense in general. And for Mike McDaniel, it's to see whether he can beat Belichick's defense with the offensive game plan. So we'll see what happens with that. Also, another matchup I came up with is the Dolphins offensive line versus the Patriots defensive line. Josh Uche, Matthew Judon, Christian Barmore. They have a really nice defense in general, and like I said, on top of that, with the coaching of Bill Belichick, they have a really good team. So this game isn't really one that I want to put off to the side. It's definitely not one, especially considering it's on Sunday Night Football, and plus it's a divisional matchup. So it makes it really not a 50-50 game, but it definitely, it's definitely not a lopsided matchup. Next up, the 5 things that the Dolphins need to do to win this game. Number 1, we'll start with the defense. Number 1 is get to Mac Jones with the front 4. I don't want to blitz to get to Mac Jones. And this is also one thing that I had for the Chargers game with Herbert last week. Herbert is a way worse quarterback under pressure, and I haven't really looked into the stats, but I'm assuming that Mac Jones is also worse under pressure. He's a very poised quarterback in the pocket. Of course, he went to Alabama. Most Alabama quarterbacks are, especially in that Nick Saban system. But Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb, Zach Sealer, and Christian Wilkins are those front 4 guys. If they can get to Mac Jones without blitzing, I would really appreciate it because we couldn't get to Herbert at all last week. Only had 3 sacks the whole game. One of them was on a Kader Kohu, kind of like a side blitz, and then the last 2 were off blitzes on that final drive. So I really hope that front 4 can, at least if they're not getting Mac Jones down on the ground, I'm hoping that they can at least create pressure and have some chaos in that pocket, force Mac Jones to roll out because he's not a mobile quarterback. So if they can get him to get out of the pocket, that's a plus for this team already. But yeah, if that front 4 can create pressure, that'd be a huge addition for this team. Number 2 is slow down the run game. Last week versus Austin Eckler and Joshua Kelly, it was a nightmare. Now that Chargers offensive line is good, but it's not good enough to create all those holes that we saw last week. Ramondre Stevenson and Ezekiel Elliott are the running backs for the Patriots. And like I said before, 4 out of the 5 Patriots starting offensive line is questionable for this game. Even if they play, they're not going to be 100%. There's no reason why this run game should be able to get past Christian Wilkins and Zach Sealer and Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb and etc. with the linebackers and safeties. There's really no reason for it. So if they can, preferably, I put next to it, preferably shut down the run game. But if I'm not expecting them to. The Patriots are an experienced team. I expect them to get the run game going at some point. But they need to slow down the run game. We cannot get over 200 yards run on us on the ground once again, because that will lead to probably a loss. Number 3, getting into the offense. Elite Tua Tagovailoa. We saw him last week, and I think that we can get him again. Now, we still have, of course, the first parts of our game plan and the first parts of our playbook that have been unopened. So, against this Bill Belichick Patriots defense, we're going to have to use a lot of those plays that they will not expect. Now, I think that Bill Belichick is going to be able to shut down the middle of the field because that's where we saw basically 75-80% of Tua's passes go last week was the middle of the field. And, can he throw outside the numbers? We've seen him do it multiple times, but it's not his strength, right? That's, of course, the middle of the field. Maybe we can spread the field vertically. Maybe we can go downfield a couple times. And Tua tried it out. Of course, we had that deep 35-yard touchdown to Tyreek Hill. And then that 47-yard gain on 3rd and 10 at the end of the game. But other than that, there wasn't really much there. There were multiple times where guys were open, but Tua, it was thrown behind or into double, triple coverage. And, there was multiple times, of course, where I'm thinking, what the hell are you doing? But at the same time, the Chargers have a good secondary, but the coaching was just not there. But getting back to the Patriots game, if we can get elite Tua for this game, there's no reason the Dolphins should lose this game. Because elite Tua means that they can win a shootout with any team. And I don't see the Patriots going to a shootout. So if the defense can hold up and do their job, the Dolphins should have a win in this game if we get elite Tua. Number 4, make them pay for man coverage. I also put blitz on this one because, when they blitz, it basically turns into man coverage. But for any reason, if the Patriots are in man coverage and Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle is being guarded one-on-one, make them pay. There's no reason anyone in the league should be able to guard Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle one-on-one. These are the two fastest. Tyreek Hill is the fastest. Jalen Waddle is probably the second fastest or maybe third. Debate a wall. I don't really care. There's no reason why any of the Patriots secondary players should be able to guard these guys one-on-one. If they go man coverage or blitz, make them pay for it. Number 5 is limit the mistakes. Now, I said this before the Chargers game, and I got so pissed because on the very first play of the game, Connor Williams messed up a snap. And then, of course, we drive all the way downfield, and then we mess up the snap there, and we weren't too lucky to get a flag. We turned the ball over. And that great drive was all for nothing, right? So, limit mistakes, and in parentheses, I have the snaps, penalties, and time management. The time management was good. We didn't have a single delay of game last week, which was great. You love to see that. Actually, they were getting to the line with about 15 seconds left on the play clock, which is great. The penalties weren't terrible. We saw a couple on Xavier Howard, but other than that, they really weren't that bad, so I was happy about that. And then the snaps, I just talked about that. Limit the mistakes. I actually have 6 this game because I just thought of another one. Number 6 is run the ball. Please run the ball. Now, Devon Achane, I think he will play this game. He was a healthy scratch last week. I'm expecting him to play. If he doesn't, I'd be a little bit disappointed. We'll see if Cedric Wilson plays because he was also an active scratch last week. But I really hope that Devon Achane plays. If we can have that speed on top of Raheem Mostert. Of course, no Jeff Wilson once again this game. He'll be back week 5 against the Giants or the Panthers. I still haven't checked. I think it's the Giants, though. If we can run the ball, Raheem Mostert was doing his thing last week. He only ended up with 30-something yards, which was crazy because I thought that he had at least 50 or something. But 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1, 3rd and inches, even 3rd and 3 at times, please run the ball. Do not pass the ball. Now, I talked about the time management in the deep dive. It was 1st and goal from the Chargers 9 with 2 minutes left, and we passed the ball 3 straight plays. Of course, that ended up with the Tyreek touchdown, but did I love to see those sequence of plays happen where it was pass, pass, pass? Absolutely not. So let's be smart with the play calls. Let's run the ball when we need to, or when we want to, because even when we want to run the ball, we still end up passing it sometimes. But yeah, man, that brings up the prediction for this game. And after, all that I said, if you couldn't tell that I'm supporting the Dolphins in this game, it's pretty clear to me. But yeah, man, I really don't think that there's like a big reason where the Patriots can win this game. Now, if Tua just doesn't show up and we see in the awful version of Tua that we saw at very few points last season, but we saw him. If he shows up for the game in Foxborough, then I don't think we're going to win this game. But I don't think that Bill Belichick is going to be able to stop Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Tyreek already came out today and said that he's expecting Bill Belichick and the Patriots to bracket him. They might double. They're probably going to triple. And when they do that, you know who's on the other side of the field? Jalen Waddle. I think that he's going to have a really big game tomorrow. I think that, all their focus is going to go to Tyreek Hill. Jalen Waddle's going to have a big game. I expect him to come up with at least 6 catches. I think he'll have at least 75 yards receiving with the touchdown. Book it right now. We'll be back Sunday late night for the recap. Unless I'm too tired. I mean, if it's a loss, I'm gonna be honest right now. This also is being recorded on Friday night, so if anything happens on Saturday, sorry. But if it's a loss, I think that the recap will be recorded on Monday because I might be too stressed out. But if it's a win, I should be too happy, and I'll probably be back late Sunday for a recap. But yeah, man, week 2. We're finally here. I think that your Miami Dolphins improve to a record of 2-0 with a 31-17 win over the Patriots, dropping them down to 0-2, their first 0-2 start since 2001. Actually, now the outcome of 2001 was pretty good, but either way, I think the Dolphins get the win, and Tua once again moves up the MVP standings because I think he's already won, but I think that the odds will lower after this week. Either way, that'll wrap up. Hope you guys enjoyed. Have a great day. Peace.